Hi, I'm Maddie Ambrose, and I am here to present my poster for you guys. I did my internship with the University of Washington Department of Biology, and I did it on application-based learning in STEM, implementing environmental health learning tools in a physiology lab course. So the researchable question that we chose at the beginning of our internship was, does the incorporation of an application-based environmental studies-centric curriculum aid physiology lab students in hard-to-learn content, retention, and quiz performance? So the goal of my study and the reason why it's important is basically to make STEM easier to learn and highlight its applicability to our environment. And I chose the topic of environmental health. It was coincidentally convenient that I chose to do this in a physiology lab course because biology, and you can see in figure one, is the most popular STEM subject, STEM seeking students choose. And so physiology is in biology, and so it conveniently works out. A little bit about logistics. I've been a peer facilitator for the physiology lab at UW for over 2 years, and that's why I chose to do my project with the physiology lab course. I was a peer facilitator and implemented my project at the same time. And so I think that that really increased my credibility and aided with my project. Over the course of the quarter, I chose 4 curriculum content weeks or units in the 10-week course and implemented 4 application-based learning tools. I took the week's curriculum, I picked an environmental health topic, I put them together and created an application-based learning tool, as you can see in figure 2. So for figure 2, I chose Vision and Eye Anatomy Week, coupled with climate change and vision impacts, and created the figure that you see in front of you. Some of the results that I would like to discuss with you all is the 2 graphs you can see at the bottom of my poster. And so in figure 2, you can see that between section C and D, I taught section C. Section D was on the same day, but earlier in that day. Average quiz scores in my section were higher overall throughout the quarter. Normally, they're pretty parallel. And so for them to be higher, it demonstrated a positive effect or trend of my study, which is really exciting to see. In section C, you see a little bit less of a trend or a positive result, but it was really great to see that I kept the quiz scores high and constant throughout the quarter, which we don't normally see. That was also a positive effect of my study. Some really big takeaways include it was suggested through my data that environmental education increases the critical thinking center of your brain and it heightens your environmental knowledge. And so hopefully this forges really important discussions inside and outside of the classroom that educators need to be having about our environment and how that interacts with our human health. Along with this, my data suggested a slight increase in quiz scores throughout the quarter, or at least kept them high and constant. And so that was really a good goal for my study. Lastly, we want to talk about broader significance. So why is this project important in the real world? Parallel subject integration in STEM classroom is something we've been struggling with a long time in the academic field. And so I presented this through parallel subject integration of physiology, environmental health, and biology. And I put them all together and demonstrated that it is possible to teach all 3 of those things at once, and that it helps students learn. It's really important to use these common experiences, so in my case, environmental health, to implement educational tools and introductory courses where there is no base knowledge assumed. And so this environmental health is helping them learn really hard content that we're expecting them to master in 10 weeks. And so proper continuation of these tools will really create open-minded and informed students. And that's what I really saw with the impact of my study. And hopefully this will yield a determined future generational workforce and create change for not only our environment, but for our health and the way that we teach students. I'd like to thank Oscar, my site supervisor, and my family and friends for always supporting my goals. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.